Hi everyone, welcome back. Seems like our adventure is going on forever, and so I just wanted to start off today by saying that you've got this. You have been coming to yoga, you've been doing your practice, you've been listening to me speak, and we've learned how to breathe, we've learned how to meditate, we've learned how to center ourselves with our opening exercise. And so now you have the tools that you need to cope with what's going on in our lives and everyone's lives. When I get distressed, when I've watched the news too much, when personal friends and family are affected in a negative way by everything that's going on in the world, I find that the only thing that really helps is coming back to my yoga practice. So coming back to my mat helps me stay present. It helps me stay in the present moment. Just take things moment by moment instead of focusing on what's going to happen in the future or what may happen or what has gone on in the past. And so that is the gift that yoga has given us. The practice of yoga is our ability to cope with things as they come up, because we all have, incredible stress in our lives right now, but we can all learn how to deal with that stress. I know I'm preaching to the choir because you guys already know this, and I've said it so many times in class. So thank you for joining me, and thank you for listening to that little ramble. Let's move on with our practice. I am definitely getting some neck issues from being at my computer and doing that head forward thing. Even when I'm talking to you, I'm bringing my head forward. So let's just take a minute to draw the chin back. Maybe take our hands behind our head and push the back of our head into our hands. So we're just doing that chin back, bringing things back into alignment. And then exhale and release. And of course, another way to do this is to stand against a wall as well. That works. We'll do that in a different video. Okay, and then let's just roll the shoulders backwards and forwards, just around in some circles. So go forward, up, back, and around, and just release tension that you might be holding there. And then do the opposite. And then come on up to standing and find your Tadasana. Move a little forward on my mat here so I'm a little closer to you. Find the four corners of your feet like we discussed in previous videos. Shift the weight back onto your heels, draw your thighs back. Connect your pubic bone and your tailbone, get really long through the sides of the body. As we are doing our practice today, I'd like you to focus on the breath and breathing into the side body, expanding your rib cage when you breathe. You can put your hands there for a minute and just see, where are you breathing? Where's the breath going to? And of course, we're breathing in and out through our nose. Expanding the chest. So the breath, that's one of our tools that we have to help us cope. We need to use that more often. Turn the palms outward, inhale, lift your arms up over your head, get really nice and long through the body. Maybe even do a little back bend as if you're going to do a sun salutation. Just from the upper thoracic, so that's from the rib cage, from the shoulder blades drawing in, the tips of the shoulder blades drawing in. Look up if it feels good for you to do so. If it doesn't, then just look forward or even chin down. The whole idea is to get this side length, and then exhale, come forward, drop into chair pose, Uttanasana. I've been trying to do 100 sit-down stand-ups every day, especially if the weather's not good and I can't get out for a walk. So again, this is where I want the breath, is in the ribs, expanding through the rib cage. expanding, feeling the breath in the front, in the chest area, and in my thoracic spine. And then from there, let's inhale, come back up to standing, pushing with your feet into the earth to get the energy to draw up again. Shifting the weight onto the heels again, because we have this tendency to shift forward. And then exhale, chair pose again. Inhale up. Exhale, chair pose. And then let's come right into a forward bend. So keeping that length in your spine, drawing the belly in, come forward into a forward bend. And let's just walk our feet out a little bit wider than we had them. And bend your knees and interlock your elbows. One hand on one elbow, the other on the other. Let your head drop in between so your ears are near your biceps. And just continue to breathe and release that tension that you're holding in your spine. Look at your belly button. Top of your head is ideally pointing downward. If the abdomen's not on the thighs, you might need to bend your knees a little bit more. So you don't want to compromise the lower back. Okay. Then I'm going to shift my hands to my knees, draw my front body forward, and my, again, pubic bone back, breastbone forward, shoulder blades together, lengthen through the top of your head. Isometrically draw your feet away from each other and exhale right down into your forward bend again. This time, let's try to straighten the legs. Draw your kneecaps up, deepen the creases of your thighs, shin bones back. Don't lose those four corners of the feet. Don't let the arches drop. Lift your sit bones up and your heels down. In fact, the outer heel, the curtain of the heel, the back of the heel is really pushing down into my yoga mat. And then inhale, lift up again. And then all the way up to standing. This time join the hands together. Let's just take a little bit of a journey over to the right hand side, your left, I guess, if you're looking at this video. And then back to the center and over to the other side. Don't lose, again, the weight on both feet equally pressing into the earth. And go back and forth. Come back to the center. Let's drop the right hand down. I'll let the left hand stretch even more. So stretch as I'm pushing my foot down into the earth on my left side. So I'm really making sure I'm having that deep connection. Then inhale, come on up. Drop that hand up, bring the other hand up, and come on over. Exhaling and breathing into the rib cage. Good. And then exhale and release. Let's do some lunges today. So if you have blocks handy, then grab your blocks. If you don't have them, you can use some books. So you can stop the video and go get that. Or just don't use blocks today. Okay, so our right leg, knee is forward, right leg is forward. Got my hands on the block so they're not all rounded over. I can lift my breastbone up and draw my tailbone down. I'm going to move a little bit forward. I don't know if you can see my back foot now in the video, but my foot is facing downwards. And don't sickle the ankle, so you want to push all the toes into the floor, even the baby toe into the floor. And then I'm going to isometrically drag that back leg forward. And I'm going to bring my front knee back towards, so my right knee back towards my right hip. So that these hips are actually straight instead of on an angle like this. And I'm going to bring my hands to my knees. Pubic bone's going to come up. Tailbone draws down. So draw your pubic bone up and your tailbone down. And engage your buttocks, your left buttocks. Draw it forward. into the front of your body. Inhale, get up nice and tall if you can. Still pushing that back foot into the floor. Still engaging my left buttock cheek. Still bringing my right knee back, or the side of my leg, or even if you want to look at it, your right hip is going back to your left foot. All different ways to kind of give you the same action. And then again, we can do that lift up and look. And then we can exhale and release our hands down to the blocks. So now I can take this back leg and I can curl my back toe under. And I'm going to slowly inflate that back leg. So again, I'm trying not to do this, hang on the blocks. My hands are pushing into the blocks to lift my upper body up. I'm going to curl my back toe under and expand my leg. Now it's like the top of your leg, the front, the quad is saying, no, don't go up there. And the hamstring is resisting and saying, no, don't come up towards the ceiling. So you've got a dual action happening. So my right knee is coming forward, my left heel is coming back, and then I'm going to isometrically draw my 2 feet together, which just makes my lunge pose all that more intense. Good, and then I'm going to drop that back knee, and I'm going to straighten my front leg just for variety, and work on the hamstring. A nice sunny day here today for our practice. Good. Then I'm going to come forward again. I'm going to inflate that leg again really nice and slowly. All the actions, make sure I'm pushing into the 4 corners of my feet. Bring my hands to my knee. Squeeze together, tailbone down, pubic bone up. Get long, get length. Try not to be up here. You want to have the front thigh parallel to the floor if possible. Push through the heel. Isometrically draw my feet together. Squeeze the outer hips. Lots of actions happening. And then exhale and release. And then again, I'm going to straighten my front leg. As I straighten my front leg, I'm pushing through. You can't see because my block's in the way, but I'm going to push through the ball of the foot and my heel. Okay? And draw the hips back. Kneecap up, quad working. So the hamstring is extending and trying to come forward over that leg. But my hamstrings are really tight today. Okay, good. And then we're going to come down and we'll change legs. We'll do the same sequence on the other side. So I'm starting off with a low lunge. You know, if you don't have blocks, I'll do this side without the blocks, it's fine. You're down here and you're still trying to lift the breastbone forward. I like to lengthen through the top of my head so that my cervical spine is in line with the rest of my spine. And again, find those 4 corners of my feet. My back foot again. Don't let the back foot sickle. You don't want the foot like that. You want the back foot straight back. So if I think about my toes, I'm going to push all my toes into the floor and the top of my foot. This is a good pose, so you can just hang out right here for a bit. Bringing the hips forward, making sure your knee is in line with your ankle. Squeeze the outer hip together. Remember, this is the line that's going back. You're taking from the left side of your leg, from the knee back. Sit bone is coming back towards the back heel. Bring your hands up towards your knees. Your hand on your knees. Okay. Now I'm working on pubic bone down and pubic bone up and tailbone down, and bringing the sacrum forward. Back glute engaged, front hip open. Inhale, lift up. So when I'm tight here and I'm shortening that side, so this hip has to go down, it has to go that way. So I keep these sides equally long. Then I can reach up, be in full pose, or a version of full pose. Okay, and then it's going to come down again. Realign if I got out of whack there. I don't know if that's good yoga terminology, but you know what I mean. Curl my back toe under and slowly, we straightened this front leg when we were down here for version 1. So as I straighten my leg, I'm drawing the kneecap up, pushing my heel forward, so I'm feeling the length. Then my sit bone is going back this way. So I'm getting this length, and my quad, this has got to be, can't be like jelly like this. It's got to be engaged so that you're opening up the back of the hamstring. You're engaging the antagonist muscle. And then you're breathing, of course. Okay, now we'll come forward. Oh, we're not using the blocks this time. We're going to curl the back toes under and slowly, slowly release up. Push your heel back and your knee forward. Squeeze your feet together. Squeeze the outer hips together and come forward, come into the standing version of this pose. So my hands are on my knees. Pubic bone up, tailbone down, squeezing the hips together. Trying to get this hip back so I'm even, and trying to sit down enough so this thigh is parallel while also keeping back leg straight, which is difficult. My psoas is tight. And then we lift up, see if we can get full pose here. And then exhale, release, come down and straighten the front leg again. And I'm going to lift my toes up. I'm going to push through that heel, draw my kneecap up, draw my sit bones back, and find the beauty in that pose. And then exhale and release and come on down. So that just makes me feel like we should do sort of a squat next. So I'm going to stand, and I know that I can't get all the way down into a full squat without something under my heel. So I'm going to take my blanket. I'm just going to roll it a little bit, and I'm going to place the blanket down on the floor and put my heels on it. See if I can do the same thing. I'm going to inhale up, get really nice and tall, and then we're going to exhale and come down into squat pose. So I want the weight back on my heel, my tailbone down. I want to feel the abdomen lifting. And I'm just going to hang out here in squat pose. This is really good for my bladder and my pelvic floor, which I have an issue with, but when I do this, I have less of an issue with. Again, it's something in my toolbox to help me cope with the physical symptoms that I might be having from sitting too much. Anyways, I'm going to leave you here. Have a good rest of your practice, and I hope this helped you out today. And again, I miss you all. SuzanneJ.com. Check out my blogs, check out my website, and you can see my other videos on YouTube through Suzanne Jakubowski, Jakubowski. Thank you. Namaste.